Andrew here again from Guitar Street, and thanks so much for tuning in to the second episode of Meet Gus. If you didn't tune into the first episode, let me introduce Gus. This is Gus. Gus is a 1980s Japanese Les Paul copy. It is an Argus. So Argus was made by the Kyowa music instrument company, Kyowa, I think. Anyway, it is a beautiful guitar. You can see it is a single piece of mahogany with, see if I can get there, a carved maple top. 3-piece maple top. That's going to come up really nicely. What I'm going to do to this is build it to my own specs. This is my personal project. So if you didn't tune into the first episode, a bit of an explanation. I'm up here every week. I've committed at least an hour a week to work on Gus because I want to give myself a Christmas present this year. So 2021, currently in lockdown yet again in Sydney, Australia. I bought Gus in 2019 for my birthday, which is June. So Gus has sat for 2 years. I think that's enough time to sit and do nothing. The plan is a couple of months. It should be a beautiful violin burst Les Paul custom with gold hardware and some really spanking pickups, which I'll talk about in another episode. This week, pretty simple. As you can see, there's still a layer of finish on this. The previous owner had obviously intended to do something with this guitar. Don't know what they intended to do, but they didn't do it. So I'm here to finish it. It looks like they've taken it down to the sanding sealer, or they have possibly sprayed it with sealer themselves. They might have taken it all the way down and then sprayed it with sealer themselves. I don't know. Either way, I've got to get rid of this coat, probably take out these post holes as well. These plugs, I don't know, I honestly don't, oh, yep, I'll be taking those out at some stage too. So the goal this week, get this thing down to bare wood. Possibly as well take an imprint of this headstock because I bought some Vulcan fiber. This stuff's great. It's fiberboard headstock veneer. The simplest way to make a headstock veneer with some inlay, really. This stuff's great. You know, cuts really easily, replicates wood. Comes up nice and black underneath varnish or lacquer, whatever you choose to spray over the top of it. So the goal this week, 1, sand to bare wood. Doesn't have to be perfect this week. I just want to get the sealer off and get it down to bare wood. I will take it down to a 300 grit at some stage, but we're going to hit it with 60 with an orbital sander, and then we're going to hit it with 120-ish, something like that, maybe 240, not too sure yet. Depends on how much time I've got. Then we're going to take an imprint of the headstock. So I've got something to work on a template with. I may have mentioned it in the previous episode that I'm going to use a piece of my son's art. He's 6, he loves drawing. Look, the Argus inlay was ratty, it was dead, so I removed it. Here's a shot of me removing it. Remember in the first episode, I actually thought this was a headstock veneer. It wasn't, it was paint or something similar. And I had to take it off with a razor blade rather than an iron. Let's get cracking because I've only got an hour to work on this thing. I did put in 20 minutes earlier this week and I did manage to get the back done. So let's have a look at that now and I'll get cracking into making this a smooth piece of wood. There are no issues so far. used an orbital sander to get the majority of the sealer off here. I was pretty careful around the headstock. I have had issues in the past. Just a tip from one of my previous rescues, using an orbital sander on the headstock can be fraught with danger. Sometimes it heats up enough to let the glue unbind. I'm really excited. It's a beautiful piece of wood. Look at that grain in the mahogany. It really comes out here with a bit of naphtha on the back. I mean, seriously, that's going to come up so beautifully. It almost makes me want to just oil the body rather than stain it a violin burst. But I'm committed to a violin burst. I love it. I've always wanted one. And so this is me being able to do it the way I want to do it. Not much else to really report this week. We've got the job done. It looks amazing. Look at it coming up underneath the naphtha. I'm really excited to start getting into the headstock veneer now. As you can see, really simple way of getting a headstock template done. Just tape a piece of paper over the top and do the old tracing trick you probably learned in second class. You'll get a good outline that way. Then cut out around the edges and stick it onto whatever you're going to make your headstock veneer from. Next episode, I'm probably going to have to tackle this fingerboard. As you can see, the fretboard's coming off the neck just past the nut. Now this is very, very common in old guitars. I have seen it quite a lot. Generally, I just shove a bit of glue in, clamp it down, and she'll be right. But then this is my personal guitar, and I want to know whether or not I should actually remove the whole fretboard and re-glue, or just go as I normally do, drop some wood glue down, clamp it up, and see how it goes. I will be refretting this, and I will be radius sanding the fretboard anyway, so I really need to take some advice. If you are a guitar tech and you know what you're talking about, I would love if you could comment down below. Let me know if I should be removing the whole fretboard or just trying to repair it at the point where it's losing contact. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning into this second episode of Meet Gus. It's weekly. Every week I've committed to at least an hour's work on this guitar to get it ready for Christmas, for my Christmas presents. Please hit subscribe or follow me at Instagram at guitarstreet.co. Also visit the website guitarstreet.co. We've got a range of t-shirts and merch. Thanks again. Cheers.